Attention, all curious minds, innovators, and trendsetters. It's time to pause, lean in, and get ready for an extraordinary journey as we dive deep into the fascinating realms of life, technology, entertainment, and business. Let's explore, learn, and grow together. Brace yourselves, for the next thrilling episodes of Hipther Talks is about to take off. Counting down from 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And here we go.
Hi everyone, Zoltan here. We're back again this week, and this time we have an interesting topic for you companies out there, startups, small and medium-sized companies, either one. This is for you because it's all about VAT reclaims, and not just any kind of VAT reclaims, it's AI-powered VAT reclaims. And I have the pleasure of having with me Shawn, CEO and founder at Revenir, an AI-powered VAT reclaims company. Hi, Shawn, nice to have you here.
Thank you very much for having me here on the podcast.
Yeah, it's our pleasure, as always. We have this tradition here that we like to give the opportunity for our guests to say a few words about themselves and their background. So let our audience know who you really are, Shawn.
Thank you. Very kind of you. So my name is Shawn. I'm founder of Revenir. My backgrounds are in finance and accounting. I was trained as a Deloitte consultant. I also had the opportunity to be one of the investment banker as well. So here at Revenir, my career is really to shape the fintech landscapes, building the bridges between the technology and the financial systems, and where I can lead my company to conquer the innovation, collaboration, and impact, and solve the problem of value-added tax for the American and the North American viewers. Will be sales tax, and how can we utilize the AI to help you to claim back your VAT or sales tax?
All right, thank you. That is actually one of the best solutions on our podcast in the past 4 years now, because we never had somebody with such a service. And yeah, with having a background in finance and banking, you look really young.
Thank you. I take it because I'm married. I'm at the age of mid-30s now, and hopefully I can still look young, because startup journey is not an easy one. And exactly. I sincerely hope all of the entrepreneurs out there, not only to reshape the fintech community, but at the same time, keep it up.
Yes.
It's a journey you won't regret.
All right, so we are already getting started with some inspirational quotes on our podcast. This is awesome. So, Shawn, what inspired you to create Revenir, and how has your journey shaped the company's mission, coming from the background in finance?
That's an interesting one, because I think the foundation of Revenir was really shaped around when my master degree here in the UK, my families and friends have visited me, and going through the VAT reclaim process was absolutely horrendous. So I thought to myself, how can we get a VAT refund in the easier way? Because you think about it, sales tax refund was designed to benefit the consumers and the businesses. And because the inefficiency and the complexity really led to the personal and the business sales tax reclaims to be a very difficult one. So I realized that opportunity with my personal experience, and therefore the Revenir was born, and trying to really coming up with a better way to help individuals and businesses to claim back the VAT. So our mission statement was formed by our users to simplify the VAT reclaims using AI and the technologies to redefine where other people would tell you otherwise, you can't claim back your VAT or you leave it behind. In the financial industry, we're making it accessible for everybody.
All right. So is this a service just for the UK, or is it for EU?
For global users.
Okay.
Our technology actually enables every individual travelers traveling into the EU. And globally, we have 54 countries offers VAT reclaim as a service that is endorsed by the government, is endorsed by the individual country's tax authority. So as long, even if you are from the EU as a citizen, you lived outside of the EU for more than 3 months, you're entitled to claim back everything you purchased that is VAT eligible with 20% back whenever you travel back to the EU.
All right, so that's good to know. There's some major informations and press releases coming from the European Commission who are now given an infringement on some of the Eastern European countries because of the non-transparency of the VAT. And yeah, this is actually quite a big problem in this part of Europe because it's a huge hassle. Sometimes you don't even manage to go over the whole process because they slap you around with some other things and you lose your VAT reclaim. So yeah. But VAT reclaims are often overlooked by both consumers and businesses because probably, like you said, of the big hassle and the grind behind it to get it back. But can you share the personal or professional experience that led you to see the inefficiencies in this process and how you decided to tackle it?
Absolutely. I think the personal ones are very easy to grasp. And every single time, whenever you're traveling, either by a train or by airplanes or even boat, you will see a long queue at the airport, at the port. Individuals are very anxious, holding a lot of receipts and a whole lot of paperwork, trying to go through the process of the custom offices and trying to get their money back. So what inspired me is every single time, whenever I travel in a shop, I have to hold on to my passport, finding the participating shops within the EU. And not only you have to speak local language, but at the same time, you're going to have to ask the queue for a VAT reclaim receipt. They're going to give you a paper form or digital one. You have to fill it out. And you have to do that with every single shop. By the time you navigated through all of your journeys, you have to bring all of the paperwork to the airport and the custom office to get a stamp on every single forms you have collected. If you missed out one stamp, please wave goodbye to 2.5 hours you wasted queuing. At the same time, wave goodbye to your VAT reclaims. That's exactly the reason why I'm wanting to take on the challenges. I believe the VAT reclaim industry is ripe for disruption.
Yeah.
Because the companies and because the incumbents are trying their absolutely best, only served 12% of the global travelers, which left over $100 billion left unclaimed for individuals just like you and I.
Yeah, more revenues for the government. So when you founded Revenir, what was the big picture, the vision of transforming the VAT reclaim process?
Absolutely. So I think from day one, the vision of Revenir has been simplifying the complexity of VAT reclaims, which majority of the people would tell you need good accountants for the business side, but you need to be lucky, you need to speak the local language, and you need to plan ahead. So for us, makes a very inaccessible process to be accessible for every individual, especially if you're a cardholder. That is our vision. And we broadly envision a world where consumers and the businesses can swiftly and securely to reclaim what is rightfully theirs, encounter the frictions along the way that is all taken away by Revenir's technology.
All right. So yeah, I think it's a very hard task, of course, in the European Union because every country has a different VAT percentage. Also depends on the product. So what makes VAT reclaim such a significant challenge for both consumers and businesses? And could you break it down for us? Besides, of course, missing out on one stamp and
You hit the nail on the head. The current VAT reclaim challenges for either the consumers and the corporations are really down to the fragmentation of the VAT process. VAT policies differs significantly between different countries, leaving the business owners, whenever they're doing business domestically or internationally, leaving the international travelers to navigate a very unfamiliar system with barely any guidance whatsoever. Documentation required from the incumbents is a very, very confusing, leading so many consumers abandoning the process because you're having a plane to catch and you have to wait in the queues for 2.5 hours. That's the reason why a lot of people, 88% of the people, leaving their VAT reclaims behind as a consumer. And for the businesses, it's equally frustrating because you have a fragmented system, compliance challenges, you have to speak and understand the local VAT ruling. At the same time, whenever you're doing a business, taking out individual clientele, you have to keep your receipts, obeying the VAT reclaim cycle to your accountants, and hoping the government will return the VAT back for your business, especially for SMEs, because cash flow is quintessential to grow the business. Consequently, even trillions left unclaimed for the business around the globe. So money that can be invested, but not only to the economy, and should be returned to the consumers or the business to thrive, has been stagnated into this VAT void that no one could really understand how to get their hands on it.
all right. So yeah, as our company also holds conferences around Europe, and yeah, in some particular countries, it's impossible to get back the VAT from the government, given their process. Of course, not knowing the language, and they just reply in their own language. They don't even care about if you like send that I don't speak your language, and in some cases there are countries that have a rule that they are not giving back a VAT for conference organizing and stuff like that, which is crazy because in this particular country it's 27% VAT, which takes a lot of money away from the business.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So how does the Revenir's AI-powered platform work to simplify this process? And can you walk us through the key features like automated receipt scanning or maybe fraud detection?
Absolutely. So our technology actually taking a very complex problem all the way upstream to the source of the payments. We directly connected with banks, payment providers, financial institutions by automatically going through every single transaction with AI-powered analytics to tell in real time whichever transaction would be VAT eligible. Imagine the next time you're spending, as you normally would, paying on your card, paying on an account for a conference, or you're traveling with your family, going into Europe, spending your holidays. The moment you touch your card, the moment you're paying through the payment gateways, we can give you a real-time sense on how much money you paid as VAT and how much you should be able to get it back. For instance, automatic receipt scanning. Because we're living in an amazing world with AIs absolutely everywhere, we can accurately process all of the transactional data from the receipts, from the invoices you're getting, illuminating someone lost the receipts, myself to be included. My wife is always complaining about me losing the receipts. And of course, at Deloitte, my boss is always breathing down my neck and say, hey, Shawn, can you please get your invoices from the airlines to our accounting team so we can recoup some of the VAT back? So powering by AI at Revenir, we're able to illuminate a lot of human errors like myself and getting all of the data straight away the moment you're making a payment. In terms of the fraud detections, machine learnings really can identify if that transaction has occurred before. If that transactions where you never been or you never paid has occurred, which we can utilize and protect our individuals and corporations against the fraudulent activities. Because in this world, AI is not only working for you and I for the good, and individuals are utilizing the AI power to take an advantage and are trying to conduct fraudulent activities. So it's quintessential for us to understand the landscapes and providing a real-time sense and report back to the individuals and corporations whenever they're making a payment. Last but not least, I think personalization. Every single individual, whenever we travel, we always wanting to have a sense of personalization. If someone is advertising baby products to me, unfortunately, it's not relevant to me at the moment. However, with our AI-driven recommendations, we could help the individuals to maximize their buying power. Because as you mentioned, 25% of VAT rate, that also means whenever you're purchasing, such as iPhones, electronics, designer goods, and even pair of socks, the price is not only down to the pricing, but also down to the VAT reclaims you can get. We can give the individual the best price in the EU, where you can get your money to work for you in the most way possible. So that's what Revenir technology could transform the traditional process into a very seamless experience for the consumers and business as long as you shop as you normally would.
All right, definitely we are helping you distribute the news about this because this has to be taken to the major outlets out there. So you mentioned that Revenir integrates with banks and fintechs, and how does this collaboration enhance the overall user experience and the functionality of your platform?
Absolutely. As you can imagine, for the traditional banking and or high street banking, they are trying to bring innovation to servicer and the consumers much better. And in this way, personally, I believe the collaboration between fintech companies like ourselves and the traditional financial institutions with a shared commitment to a customer-centric, user journey-centric innovation is the key. So right now, by integrating with our VAT Reclaim API keys into their existing offerings, we are creating a very comprehensive financial experience to not only drive the real value, because imagine you traveling on a trip, you're seeing actual cash coming back to you for once. That's the reason why we're wanting to drive the real results for the users. And of course, for fintechs, collaborating with us would be adding value-added services, boosting their customer loyalty, customer retention, and increase their usage. Because right now we have, personally speaking, I have 5 different bank cards in my wallet. Every single time, whenever I'm doing something different, I use a different card. So putting their cards on top of the wallet is the key for Revenir to achieve collaboratively with our banking partners. And the opportunity doesn't stop there, because the modularization and standing out from the marketplace where switching costs is coming less and less. So tackling a real challenge to differentiate yourself as a traditional banking offering and adding that advantage beyond just user experience of having actual value coming in, where you can reduce your operational cost, reduce and bypassing some of your compliances and unlocked the revenue streams where you can provide the best FX rates for your customer. Because right now you can gain access to VAT reclaim as a new revenue stream is the reason why we wanting to collaborate and bringing our services to as many financial services possible.
All right, let's also talk about regulations, partnerships, and challenges because there's definitely regulatory complexity, which varies greatly from country to country. And even in our small region of Europe, there are 28 different regulatory jurisdictions, not to mention the world and different continents you guys are working on. So, how does Revenir navigate these challenges, and while you guys also ensure compliance across these different regions?
Absolutely. Not only we emphasize and started to pay attention to compliances from day one, at the same time, we employ the right individual who speaks 6 different languages to help us to navigate a very complex landscape of Europe. Like you mentioned, regulatory landscape across each of the countries will be different. And our platform is actually trying to bring each of the different tax regimes and regulatory standards into a one simple platform, which really helps the individual to understand what the VAT return means in each of the countries that they're traveling to. And this wouldn't happen without the help from our legal team, from our head of public affairs team, from the help from the government as well, because it's in the government's best interest to facilitate every single VAT eligible transactions to be passed on to the individual, not just gaining by the corporations and holding it as a VAT-free sale. And the challenges doesn't stop there because, as we mentioned before, education of the market is quintessential. 88% of the individual never even heard of VAT reclaim services. What we can do is closing the knowledge gap by delivering the technology not only to our banking partners, but to our governmental partners as well, helping them to deliver and drive individuals to contribute to the local economy. Whenever you're thinking about the travelers, you're really thinking about the individual taking taxis, individual booking the hotels, booking the flights, going to your restaurants. These are the main driver as a large portion of some countries' GDP is the reason why we're wanting to give the most back to the travelers. So they will be coming back to the country again and again. And the scalability probably would be the last bit we're wanting to solve, because with a rapidly growing market, remain the focus for us. We're a startup. We're needing to capture the 54 countries, ensure our infrastructure, ensure our partnerships are accommodated with the increasing of the demand. For example, UAE, on the trade mission we've recently been to, their spending patterns are probably 10 times more than the regular Western individuals. And due to the complexity, how can we bring in a frictionless usage for the individuals and companies to claim back the VAT through our strategic planning and innovation is the key challenge we're facing. And I'm very grateful to have the team equipped with the knowledge able to tackle that problem.
All right, so let's also talk about market education, and because this is a challenge. Because probably our listeners now are looking for the receipts. Man, I must have missed out on so much money that I can get back. So many businesses and consumers aren't aware of this money that they leave unclaimed there. Like you mentioned, there are billions of dollars that are left for the governments, countries, etc. So how do you address this gap and raise awareness?
Through our partnerships, we cannot do it ourselves because the outreach with limited resources, we believe educating our consumers should be done through our trusted partners. Because you have already gotten 5 different cards in your wallet, you have already gotten a couple of the banks you are entrusting your money with. So if we're able to help our banking partners and local tax authorities to deliver the message to every single individual cardholder, that message itself would be very powerful. Imagine if you banked with Neurobank and all of a sudden you received a message saying, right now you're eligible for a VAT reclaim whenever you're traveling to the EU. And you don't have to do anything at all. You shop as you normally would. The chances of you trying to claim the back without going through all of the paperwork or queuing at the airport, all you need to do is use your banking app you already have, going through the process and scanning of the barcode at the airport, where all of the government is trying to build as many kiosks to help individuals to claim it back, easy in the play, is quintessential for us, treating our banking partners and our tax authority partners as our distribution partner. So giving the message to the general public, please making sure you're taking leverage of VAT return scheme and helping yourself to make your hard-earned money to go as far as you can.
All right. Good. That's good to know. So you guys partnered with fintechs and banks to incorporate the Revenir solution into their offering. So what do these partnerships actually look like, and how do they benefit financial institution and their customers?
Absolutely. So whenever you're thinking about banks, you're thinking about your money is safe. There's a saving account. Maybe you can do the investment with.
Actually, I don't. But most people do, yeah.
Where you probably would be the perfect user persona for us as well, because you are constantly proactively looking for a better way to make your money work for you. With that in mind, what's in it for the banks? Because they're providing every single branches, every single car, they have to follow the legislations, they have to make sure your money is safe for them. That costs a lot of money. And what we can do to our banking partners is to help them to utilize Revenir as a tool to achieve their goals set it out for themselves. We're enabler. We're not trying to be one obstacles where the bank's gonna have to change drastically just so they can tap into the market. We are open up the doors of VAT reclaim services, like you mentioned. For the retail customers, we're looking at over 100 billion every single year unclaimed. And for the corporation customers, we're looking at 3.5 trillion left unclaimed. So the main driver for us to bringing the value proposition to the banking partners is one, cross-border transactions. The more cross-border transactions can happen, the banks can make more money just based on the card scheme. Bringing the card on top of the wallet. You already gotten 10 different cards. Whenever you travel, you're using Amex. Why would you wanting to travel with a different card? VAT reclaim services could be the solution to break the individual's mindset and thinking, hey, I already got an Amex. Now I can get my money back every single time I tap my card. Why not? So you imagine the customer engagement, customer acquisition, and loyalties. And also, we're trying to give it back to our banking partners as a new revenue stream. We're trying to enable them not only to invest in educating the cardholders and trying to get up the card schemes and trying to enable their cardholders to use their cards. But now it's actually paid by our VAT scheme. We share our revenue with our banking partner to ensure the financial health of the project is self-sufficient. They don't have to worry about how much money they're going to have to burn through before they can see real-time, tangible returns back to their bank balance.
All right. So it's either way, it's a win-win situation for the banks in this case. And yeah, you guys are at the pivotal stage right now, pivotal stage of growth. So, and you are focusing, of course, on expanding globally. So my question is about what regions are you prioritizing and what opportunities do you see in those markets particularly? I'm really curious about this.
Great question. As you can say, as a startup, you have to be laser focused on your market. You're trying to solve a tangible problem. And we collectively looked globally as a market. Europe would be our primary market because as a destination, as businesses, every single individual wanting to go to Europe, wanting to do business with European companies. And that's our first line of the market we're penetrating. And thanks to our amazing colleagues here, we're able to process every single country in the EU. Secondary market, if you're looking from the financial corridors, would be Middle East. These are the individuals are traveling to the EU on a regular basis, wanting to spend in their culture, not only buying for themselves, but purchasing items and goods for their extended families. And within, let's say, UAE, massive influence from the UK government as well. They share similar infrastructure. They're able to conduct business in the similar manner. Therefore, a lot of UAE, Middle Eastern, KSA, for example, companies are very happy to do business with the European companies as well. And if we zoom out globally, every single European could travel to Southeast Asia, East Asia, including South Korea, Japan, China, Malaysia, Singapore, Thailand, on their holidays. These are the individuals we wanting to capture and give them exactly the same VAT return reclaim services everyone else has been enjoying for the past 80 years will be available for them the next time Europeans are traveling to the Southeast Asia as well.
All right. So AI is clearly the center of your platform. And
absolutely.
I'm curious about what advancements in AI are you most excited about, and how do you see them shaping the future of let's say, VAT reclaims and financial services as a whole?
That's $1 million question. We have seen DeepSeek rocking the Nasdaq and rocking the stock value of NVIDIA as well. And we have seen OpenAI coming out very transparently, wanting to collaborate, not only because DeepSeek made everything open source, but also acknowledging harnessing power of AI will be the future. So my sense, where fintech companies could really align is down to their social objectives, ethical objectives, where they can really harness the power of AI and utilizing the power in the ethical way possible. We wanting to have the AI to work for the greater good rather than against it. So in the next train of AI generating either say legislators, local tax authority, and the government, they gonna have to utilize and harnessing the power of AI to upscale their current legislations, making sure all of the companies actually utilizing the power of AI for the greater good. not only just for the short-term gain.
All right. So earlier you hinted about the importance of hyper personalization and embedded finance in the future of fintech. So how do you see these trends influencing the way consumers and businesses interact with financial systems?
Selfishly speaking, I might be I might be influenced by. I think embedded finance will be the future.
Okay.
Not only because we're providing embedded finance as a solution, but look around you. Every single financial services offerings are now tailored exclusively to the individual. And all of the financial institutions are trying to offer more competitive services to hyper personalize down to the individual whenever there's a higher needs. We're in a fast turnover, very rapid growth. It's almost like TikToks you're flipping through. Every bit of friction that is not powered by AI or embedded finance will be made redundant and obsolete very quickly.
Yeah.
Because individuals just not having enough of patience to comb through every single piece of paperwork and trying to find out what they can do about it. So embedded finance, personally believe, will be the future.
All right. So definitely sustainability aligns with the VAT reclaims sustainability of a business, of course. And of course, ethical finance is now becoming more important. And
Absolutely.
how is Revenir align its goals with these principles?
Very great question. All hands on deck with every single individual in the office. We're not only trying to achieve, as any companies would do, maximizing our profitability, but also comes down to tangible, smaller, achievable tasks that day in, day out, we should be paying massive respects to. So, for example, our BD team, they're absolutely looking for the ethical fintech for the force of good. Okay, how can we contribute not only to innovative fintech solutions, but also to what we can utilize ourselves to illuminate, for example, in the needs of receipts. We are really trying to have the digitalized receipt processings. So every single individuals and shops no longer needing to print out receipts. And that would have a positive impact on the fintechs in the tangible way. It is not only done by us. I think it should be done as a collective movement for everyone to consider. And for the banks, institutions, and fintech startups, what we can do collectively to pushing the next revolution of thinking about fintech for a good cause.
All right. So, as someone, as you who are at the forefront of the innovation in fintech, what's your vision for Revenir in the next 3, 5 years, and how do you see the company evolving? Because already I'm envisioning about 3 years from now, an Austrian going to Czech Republic and coming back from the weekend, having your app already reclaiming the VAT.
That's amazing when you said that because I'm married. My wife, she's half Czech, half German.
Oh wow!
She's been using our services since day one, and she's the sole heart support from the bottom of my heart, supporting what I do. And the moment I convinced her to buy the wedding ring from Italy, I'm say, hey, why don't you just go through the traditional ways of doing it and just to understand why we're trying to solve the problem. And she figured out later on, 2.5 hours, stressed, nearly missed out the flight, and find out we've been charged 71% of our own money as a VAT reclaim fee, I think that really is a tangible, very close to my own heart, what we can do for the general goods. And where Revenir can thrive is really to empower every single individual to collect what is rightfully their own money without the hustle of speaking different languages, of going through all of the paperwork and queuing into the airports, because that's the money can go a long way for you. And for the companies, equally important, if you're needing the cash to fuel your growth path, why you have to wait for 1 year long that your accountant to be filing to the local tax authority to have a bit of money injected back, where we can give you the money immediately and could potentially save a lot of livelihoods for the SMEs, or you don't have to hire the whole accounting department speaks 6 different languages. So you can do business in Europe. And that's where I envision Revenir can solve and would solve in the foreseeable future.
All right. So what advice would you give to startups or entrepreneurs looking to tackle complex financial problems like VAT reclaims? Of course, use Revenir. But beside that,
be patient. Some of the times, as great as we can see, the global landscape of technologies are pushing us forward, there's no better times to launch your own business or tackling a problem you're foreseeing. But also, please be patient. We're solving a problem that existed since the beginning of the financial infrastructure. It can't be just changed because we're powered by AI. Think beyond what you can solve, what you can help, and let the whole ecosystem to catch up with your solution. So you have to pace yourself. You have to make sure you are not burning the candles from the both ends. It is a very counterintuitive because we're a YC company. And a YC ideology would be burn fast. But some of the times you have to look out for yourself, look out for your customers. There is a better good if you existed. The moment you die, potentially you taken away, one of the solutions can be beneficial for your actual customers, and they're going to have to wait another year or two for someone else to pick up the problem. So pace yourself, be stubborn, be consistent, and making sure you're not burning out. Because the problem you solve is quintessential.
All right. So before I address you the final question, I'd like to educate the audience that the VAT is not that old. It's not as old as financial system, banks, etc., because it was invented around 1954 by France. And it was introduced in the UK in the 70s or something like that. So it's not something very old. And of course, it's now is the time to disrupt it. Now is the time to take advantage of those reclaims that you can do. So make sure to just look up Revenir, guys, because this is a solution which makes hassle-free reclaims. So, Shawn, finally, if you had to sum up the impact you hope Revenir will have on the financial industry in just one sentence, what would that be?
Simplicity, transparency, and customer-centric focused offering for your end consumers is the main mission that drives Revenir.
Wow, that's one great sentence.
Thank you very much.
All right. So, Shawn, if you have some parting words to the audience, be my guest.
So the audience, as individual travelers, I'm from Canada. I came to the UK. Even if I'm trained as a consultant with an accounting degree, I never really would have thought value-added tax would be something I wanting to solve as part of my daily tasks, as part of my career. So I encourage every single individual to pay attention because we're living in the best world where technology and AI has become a crucial part of our daily life. Look out for the services that could drastically benefit you and making sure you stay agile, taking advantage. And on your next travel, hopefully, you could see some money coming back for you for less.
All right. So keep in mind, guys, the government is not going to call you and tell you that, hey, we have to send your VAT back. You have to do it yourself. And especially since this tool is available, I'm very happy. We will definitely enroll. Shawn, thank you so much for your time, and thank you for the audience for joining us. We will be back next week with more important stuff. Take care, everyone. Goodbye.
And that's a wrap for this section of Hipther Talks. Thank you for being a part of our journey today. Don't forget to tune in next week for more insights and discussions. Stay connected with us on Spotify, YouTube, Google Podcasts, Amazon Music, Apple Podcasts, and more. Until then, keep exploring and keep growing. We'll see you next time.